Hi, how are you? Welcome to DCP Talks, baby, episode 7. My name is Stephen Candace, and I'm an author. And this is my podcast station, DCP Talks. It's on Friday nights, 7 p.m. And it's about authors and about my books. And then it's about helping out how to start books. And there's going to be a writer's corner for everybody. I changed up the format. There's just going to be basically books and talking about how to help out and do and learn new things. So let's get started. So, I mentioned my podcast and I mentioned my website. So you can look at everything and check it all out at www.authorstephencandace.com. So I think we should just live our lives and have a great day, and then everything comes out just fine. Be positive. That's the number one thing. I would discuss my books. I've wrote 59 books. I have so many in different categories. I have fantasy, Zoran's Quest. I have Vikings, Pigeons and Crows. We have Westerns. And then you can turn around. We have horror books. We have many horror books, many suspense and thrillers. There's two cookbooks. We're going to talk about those today. We also have 24 Audible books. So very many to choose from. There are so many to choose from. Yeah, I went a little bit of stir crazy of writing. Right now I'm writing 3 books as we speak. You're going to learn about those at Author's Corner. Now, so we're going to talk about the thing, and we're going to talk about the podcast, Welcome to podcast, where coffee is strong and the opinions could be stronger, baby. That is the way it runs, right? Starting a podcast it could be easy. Figuring out what to say, that is the hard shit right there. I started my podcast, so I could talk without anybody interrupting. That's me, baby. Doot, doot, doot. I don't need nobody to tell me what I got to do. That's all of us inside. You know the way that shit works out. If you don't know the answer, just confidently fake it till you make it. There you go. That's so me about it. Half podcast is half a therapy session. That is so true when it comes to certain things. Some people write journals. I record podcasts and I write books. So imagine that shit. Behind a podcast episode is at least 3. Wait, start over. Oh, it is, man, you have no idea when you want to try to do a podcast how many times you have to re-record, redo this shit. I try to do mine as live as possible. So if I screw up, it's right in the fucking mix. That's it. I'm straight shooter. I don't believe in sugarcoating anything at times. I should, I guess. But it's my podcast. There you go. So, this is it. So this week's books that we are going to talk about 2 books, okay? And like every week we talk about 2 books. And these 2 books this week are just so happen to be self-help books, and they're 2 of my cookbooks. And BBQ Cooking Made Easy. And we have Cooking Made Easy for Everyone. Here's the best part. I always have my books so I could show everybody. I look at my cabinet over here and they're both missing, and I think I loaned them out. So I'm dying right now because I usually have them. You can find them on my website. You can find them anywhere. Just go to Amazon. Just do what you want to do. You can just type them in. They're going to show up. And the first one, Cooking Made Easy for Anyone. Why? Why not? I got grandkids. I was hoping one day they would learn, and follow my footsteps. Not. Those kids don't. Yes, they like to cook here and there, but the minute it really turns of age, they're like, I'm out of here. But yeah, so Cooking Made Easy is for everyone. Every recipe is inside this book. It's very simple, and all you got to do is follow it. Follow the recipe, man. It's that simple. And I even made it very, very likable. Barbecue Cooking Made Easy is the same way. It's all about barbecue grilling. Very easy, and everything you could cook on a grill. When I make the cookbooks, I think of, people who don't know how to cook. That is why I am starting soon. DCP's Kitchen Hotspot, baby. Yeah, it's coming, right? DCP's Corner Hotspot. I apologize. But yeah, that's coming soon, where I'm going to do basically a podcast video about me cooking meals every day and breaking them all down for everybody. We're going to looking for my videos coming, baby. It's coming soon, okay? So there you go. Self-help. Cooking, everybody should know how to cook. every woman loves a man that cooks. Every woman loves a woman that cooks. It doesn't make a difference, but mostly, in my world, yeah, that's what I have found. So to me, that's what, hey, write a cookbook, baby. You'd be surprised. Now, we have a few questions from our Mr. Steak Filet from New York City. New York City. All right. So Mr. Filet asked me about my cookbooks this week. I told him I was going to, do this week. He says, who inspired you to write this cookbook? Who inspired me was actually probably my sister. She's already wrote 2 cookbooks. So to me, and we have a lot of family recipes, but I didn't hardly use any of them, which is funny. I used a lot of simple recipes, how to make scrambled eggs for a child, even a teenager up to an adult. They don't know how to actually make French toast, how to make something simple, how to make shake and bake pork chops, baby. Yes, I even put that in there to make it simple for people, baby. I mean, we got to make it simple. If you want to make a full meal in less than an hour, I got you covered. That's it. Now, whom is the cookbook designed for? I think I just covered that, so I don't think we got to go over that. What type of recipes include in this cookbook? Well, we have full dinners, we have light lunches, and then there's desserts, a few. So to me, and there's a couple appetizers. So I try to make it a round recipe for everybody. What is your favorite recipe in the cookbook? Shake and bake pork chops, shake and bake chicken. Oh, I love my shake and bake. Shake and bake chicken wings is to die for. Like, Which recipe is easiest for beginners? There's actually a few of them in here. Like scrambled eggs is easy. A salad is easy. There's easy, even how to do fish fillet. So there's a hamburger. There is a lot of little simple things in here. There's even how to make chili. So, which recipe took the longest to perfect? Chili. Many years of actually getting many recipes, and I finally got it down where people ask me to bring my chili. My chili is one of the recommended dinners or recipes for people. And who is the family traditions or new creations? There's both. There's some of the family traditions. I'm very traditional. I cook the same kind of foods as my family did, but I have learned over the years, you got to explore, and things will come better when you do explore, right? I think so too. What ingredients appear most often? That's a strange question. Your number one ingredient in the world naturally is salt and pepper. Bam, right off the bat. Everybody knows that. Besides that, it depends on which way you're cooking. If you're cooking Italian style, of course, you got oregano, and then you have, parsley, and we have other things to go with it. If you're cooking, just say beef stew, then you go with a little bit of thyme, salt and pepper. You don't do it, maybe a little garlic. Too much, not too much. You want to make that flavor of the meat come out. And that's the whole purpose of it. Yeah, everybody says, I can spice it up. Yeah, and sometimes they screw it up too, right? We've all been there before. Let's see. What meal would I recommend? What meal from the book would I recommend first? It depends if you're hungry. There is a salad, a roast beef meal. There is a chili meal. There are many dinners, chicken breast, how to cook. So you decide. There's many there that are simple and easy for you to do. Did you test a recipe many times? My whole damn life. I have cooked ever since I was a young lad, and I have done a lot of this. So actually, it's not too bad. Are these healthy recipes in my cookbook? 90% is healthy. Some are not. But now mostly are oven baked. I don't do a lot of deep frying myself, only because I really have cut back on it because of my heart. Otherwise than that, I love deep fried food. Shit, I can cook some amazing chicken wings, amazing fish, all that good stuff. So to me, I think it just depends on how you feel what you want, right? What cooking mistakes should readers avoid? Not following the recipe for one or taking shortcuts. It doesn't work. Don't turn your heat up high to make it cook faster. You're going to burn the shit. Don't add a little more water because you think you should. No, recipes are built by perfectionists because it's been done consistently so many times it is perfected. That's why you follow a recipe. What do I hope readers learn from my cookbook? I just hope that you just learn to be confident. learn to enjoy and watch somebody else's face when they eat something, because it is pretty cool, right? All right, that was it. Thank you very much, Mr. Steak Filet. Now, I have a bunch of questions I received from Mr. Jose Cuervo. He wants to know, how can I start a cookbook? Well, there we go. I think that sounds pretty freaking simple. It's not. First of all, let's go ahead and start, Mr. Cuervo, is what type of cookbook do you want to create? Is it going to be a healthy cookbook? Is it going to be a family? Is it going to be comfort food? So that is what you have to decide first. Once you make that decision, then I think you can decide of what it is. Who is the target audience of your cookbook? Well, you got to figure out, who are you trying to point it to? Okay, you got to point it to. Now, what I did was, when you sent me this, I wrote down a bunch of questions so I can make sure I didn't forget which way to go. Now, what cooking style will your cookbook focus on? Like I said, is it going to be comfort food? Is it going to be something different for, street food? You got to figure that out. Will your recipes be simple, advanced, or mixed, or both? So you have to figure that out, okay, Mr. Cuervo? You got to have a little bit of mixture, I'd say. Unless you want to do an advanced cookbook. If you have the skills and knowledge to, knock that shit out. To me, I got a job at a college because of my experience. 30 years experience in management, training, food. So therefore, I got a job pretty soon because I knew the knowledge. And they tested me, of course. But yes, I knew it inside and out, top and bottom. But so to me, there you go. Then you have to figure out, do you want family traditions in your book? Do you not want it? Or is it a new creation in your book? Then you got to make sure is, how will you organize your cookbook? You got to make sure you break it down into breakfast, lunch, dinner, desserts. You got to make sure you understand how you want to do that. Is that cool? I think that is fair. Now, what is the first recipe you plan to include? I think that is one of the most important things. You got to make sure you highlight something, the cover of the book or whatever it may be. I think I got to take that advice. Okay, it's funny. Okay, my one, the barbecue one, yes, it's all my cooking. That's my food. And matter of fact, the other one, that is my spaghetti plate. That was my wife's dinner plate. That's hilarious now that I talk about that. Don't forget to include cooking tips and cooking techniques. That is extremely important. And let's see. Oh, here you go here. Now, some cookbooks, if you read it, carry a personal touch, a personal memory, a personal story. You got to figure out if that's the kind of book you want, or do you just want to straight hit it with ingredients that appear often in recipe books. A lot of people are consistent with recipes they use. Let's make sure we understand that, because it depends on where you're from and how it goes, and that's really basically how it works. And then you want to test your recipes before you publish them. You want to make sure they test good. If you have for sure recipes, well, then I think you're halfway there. Will you include photos in the finished thing? See, I'm going through this right now. Should I take the photos out? Should I keep the photos in? Right now, that's how I feel. That is your choice. You got to figure that stuff out, okay? What makes your cookbook unique? Mine ain't unique. I got to figure a way to do it better to make it unique. My one is good. BBQ Cooking Made easy. That's cool. But my other one, yeah, I think I gotta change it up. There's some things I want to change right now coming this year, so I'm gonna think that's one of them. Okay, don't forget to do kitchen tools. Will the readers need for your recipe? You got to add in all the utensils. You got to add in, make sure you label the spices so they know what they got to get. So therefore, they can do that. Now, don't forget to write step-by-step instructions. In the restaurant world, when I had so many restaurants, I had 40 restaurants, I made every restaurant write a flow chart. Those of you who don't know what a flow chart is, that means you walk in the door at 7:30, start cooking. There's a chart that tells you what to do at 7:30. It tells you what to do at 7:45, tells you what to do at 8, and so on. That's a flow chart, and it's only to help people become a continuous, repetitious, so they become faster and they become more confident. Flowcharts help you out, same as schematics. If you see where things are in a restaurant, Duh. If that doesn't help you out, tell your boss, write some schematics. You're an idiot. I mean, really, people need to know where they're looking for. Duh. Have a great time. Sorry, I didn't mean to do it that way. Now, the dish best represents your cooking style. Make sure that is the cover. What is your cooking style? Is it international food, European food? Is it American food? Is it just all around flavorful food? So figure that out. What do you want readers to learn from your cookbook? That's another step. Now, that's the last question about that one. So I hope it helped you in some way to guide you on that one, okay? Now we're going to talk about, now this is our author's corner. This is my time. I get to tell you about my new books, like doot, 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 doot. So let's talk about our new books, okay? So I have 3 books I'm writing on right now. And the first book I'm writing on, we're going to call is John Tillis, okay? John Tillis is a mining family, and this is set in the 1870s and in Colorado and Mason Valley. And they're about a mining family, and the Dotery Mining Company wants their land. So therefore, John Tillis is basically about how it starts, how it builds, and then how it ends. Now, my second book we're going to talk about is A Quarter Mile, okay? 1,320 feet to survive. I mean, and this is a tale about several individuals, 88, are on a highway, and they run into an area which is so dense by fog, you can't even see in front of you. So everything has to come to a halt. And then the story goes, they have 1,320 feet, a quarter mile to survival. There are a lot of twists. There's a lot of turns. This is a horror comedy. So this is going to be one of those good laugh books that you're going to want to read because it is just good. So we're going to go for it. And that's going to be a book that's coming out soon, actually. I'm almost about 3/4 done with this one. So I have some ways to go on this one. Now, I've started a new book now, and my new book actually is called Bachelor Getaway Masquerade. Yeah, that's coming up, okay? And that one's going to be about myself, okay? It's a jokester I'm going in my 5th marriage. And the whole family and everybody's going down to Key West for a nice, beautiful celebration. And so me and my guys, which I have my best friends as also a couple of my friends, we all have been together for many years. So we're going to take a road trip down to New Orleans, and then we're going to fly from New Orleans down to Key West. And there's a lot of stumbles on the way. So there you go. That's going to be what that's going to be about. The Bachelor Getaway Masquerade. There you go. That's coming probably by summertime. Whoop, whoop. I love it. Now, here we go. Here is our learning segment for DCP Talks, baby. I told you I was going to do it. This is called Writer's Corner. Last week we covered Start Your Book, segment 1. And we're going to recap real fast. So if you know your core ideal is number 1. Number 1 is to know your core idea. This book is about. Done. We're done with that. How's that? Number 2, your main focus. Is it fiction? Is it nonfiction? There we go. Now there's your number 2. Number 3, plan your opening. First 3 pages. Your opening should hook the readers. I want you to remember that. Don't forget, you can use an action hook, a question hook, or an emotional hook. There you go. And don't forget to start it with a feeling. Draw them in right away. Now, number 4, the basic story structure. Easy version. Beginning, 25%. Don't forget, 50% is the middle. That's your bulk. And then your ending. Bring it down or end it with a cold, hot slap. And then number 5. Once you complete the first 4 steps, then you're going to look at the chapter starting formula. You're going to custom start your chapter outline. Use this for your each chapter. You have a setting, you have a problem, you have a reaction, and you have a cliffhanger. I don't know why I was like rushing in a hurry. Hey, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, for each chapter, you want to use a setting, you want to have a problem, you want to have a reaction, and then a cliffhanger. Now, next we're going to build our characters. Now, before I do that, I want to give you an example. Whenever I said plan your opening, the first 3 pages, use an opening and a question, emotional hook. Don't forget to start with the feeling. In my book I just wrote, John Tillis, the very opening scene is he is standing there with his foot on the wooden box. His head is down. His hand is full of dirt. He lets the dirt out slowly as it trickles down onto the wooden box. He looks over to the other 3 wooden boxes. He pulls a stick of dynamite from his back pocket and holds it. That's the opening. Then it goes to John Tillis. So see, draw him in. You know he's emotionally screwed up. You know there's a problem. There's wooden boxes. It's the 1870s, so obviously it's coffins. So that's just an idea what you can do. Now, I didn't say it was perfect because I did write it probably a little bit different inside to make it more theatrical to pull you in. So that's a little bit of an example. Now, we're going to start with let's build a character this week. I told you we're going to do a let's build a character, right? Now, this is a full character outline template for you. I want to make sure to cover everything. So your basic information when you're building a character. Okay, you need a name or a nickname. It's up to you. You got to make sure you have an age. You got to make sure their gender and if they have an occupation or their role in this. Now, what I like to do is I like to make up little cards, or I have a little diary which I keep up, and each character has an outline. Now, then you got to decide if they are a species or race. Then you got to have a birthplace. Sometimes a birthplace doesn't freaking matter because wherever you are in the story, but sometimes a birthplace does matter. So if you write it, you already got it. You don't have to worry about that shit. The current location you're at too. Like I said, see, I'm always going with the current location. Now, number 2, we're going to go with the physical appearance. Okay, don't forget the physical appearance. Now, you got to look at their height. You got to look at their build. They thin, athletic, etc. You got to do with that shit. Hairstyles, color. You got to make sure you get your eye color. I mean, don't forget skin tone. Like I said, everything matters because when you're talking about a character in a story, they have to know. You know, when I wrote Jaws of Death, I was started out in Jamaica. Well, I don't know about you, but in a story, how do you describe a Jamaican? Exactly. Now you know where I'm coming from. I had to learn and the wording. So to me, whenever I was typing in, I learned how they speak. So I put the words and try to translate and see how they say things. Well, guess what? It works. So therefore, that person, says, "Yeah, man, how are you today?" So therefore, it makes a difference in how you write. Now, don't forget distinctive features. Do they have scars? Do they have tattoos? Glasses? In other words, are they sweet, kind, or a miserable son of a buck? Clothing style? Everything is described and people see it in their mind. See what makes a book amazing? We already have our imagination and we already see people. Boom. We're already done with that shit. So how others describe that person is appearance. You got to remember how other people look at it now. So there you go when it comes to physical appearance. Okay, now we're going to go to personality next. Now, don't forget their personality. 3 positive traits. 3 negative traits. They could be a flaw, fine. But biggest strength, biggest weakness. Temperament, calm, angry, funny, shy. I like writing certain books because you could tell the way the tone in the book even. See, I've been always told, great manager, I have succeeded in everything I want to do, success, okay? But I've also learned failure and I became humble because of it. But when it comes to everybody said my success is always great, but sometimes the tone, your tone will screw you up. And I was like, yeah, fuck that tone. But there you go right there. See, there you go. So you have to really break down, okay, that. Now you have a biggest strength, biggest weakness. We already said that. Temperament, boom. Habits, Quirks. Do they have a habit? Do they have a quirk? What makes them happy? What makes them angry? And that's what you have to do. And that's why the emotional side is so important. Here we go. And then we have background and past. Okay, we have family members. Don't forget, childhood experience always helps out. I like to go back and forth, sometimes draw in that childhood experience. Important life events. I have a lot of that. Education and training, only once in a while, because it depends if you want to use a character or what they're doing. You know what I mean? They could be education, college, or it depends on the book. Like I wrote Jessica Lynn, and she was in college. Now, how about past trauma? That is always good. Crybaby, prime example. Messed up in the head, right? Important life events is like, you know what I mean? Love grows on you. Man, talk about blank shit right then and there, right? But love grows on you is a perfect example. Childhood experiences, a father's love in my book. It goes right back to all about that. And I mean, that's exactly what we want to do. Secrets that we keep. There's a lot of books with secrets, especially when it comes to certain things. Like my one book, Escape. There are so many secrets and twisted turns. Let me tell you. Now, we have to turn around and don't forget, now that was backgrounds and past, so I just threw my books in there too. Now we have goals and motivations. Don't forget, man, I should have said, what goal is in the story, where you want this story to go. So your goal is going to be the ending, basically. Now, short-term goals. Don't forget short-term goals. If you want to get to where he's going halfway in the story, then change it up. That's cool. Why goals matter? Because everybody needs to know what the hell you're doing or where it's going. They want to feel there is something at the end. They want to feel there's something that's coming at the end. What motivates them to keep them going? That's another thing. Are they looking for something? In my book, The Amulet, they're constantly looking. It's a never-ending battle. Same as dreams. They're constantly testing. They're constantly testing them. Constantly. Poor Joe, I feel bad for him, And then, why they fear losing. People are so insecure, right? Like in Blind Side of Love with Tanya, whenever there's an accident, she is so upset because she has a fear of losing that person. I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about. So you got to really put that in there, and then we're going to go into relationships. Don't forget relationships. Relationships are important. You got to make sure they have a best friend. Every story, somebody has a bestie. And that's all there is to it. Now, romantic interest. That's probably why I wrote, Love and Snowflakes, Perfect Pairing. I like the romantic interest and the fun, quirky stuff and the romance. I'm a romantic. Enemies or rivals. There you go. Sleepy Water Campground, prime example. There's enemies and there's rivals and they come together and it is just not fun. That's same as Shiloh. Woo! Enemies and rivals, baby. Mentors or teachers, see? Life on the Prairie, Miss Scarlett is one of the best mentors and teachers there is. So you got to have a mentor. You got to have a teacher. Use a focal point like I'm doing right now to you. So therefore, you understand where I'm trying to go with this. Okay, there you go. Family relationship with others. Man, the Happiness, Love, and Happiness series is talk about family relationships and building with other people and bringing them all together. There's many books. Current is the same way, where everybody has to come together with one, to be one. So don't forget now when it comes to relationships. Now they got to have skills and abilities now. So your skill and abilities, what special skills do they have? What talents do they have? What magical abilities, if it's fantasy? In Zoran's Quest, there are so many different characters with abilities. So that's what makes fantasy cool, right? Fantasy is not like, even in like a Viking book, you can make witches, you can make whatever have, powers. That's what's cool. So weapons or tools they use. Do they have guns? Do they have axes? Do they just have clubs? Do they just have rocks? You got to figure all that out. Build your story to make it right, and everything comes. Weak areas, limitations, do they have them? Everybody has them. I always throw them in there. Then we have our character arc, how they start the story with them. Do you start it with them? the major challenges you're going to face. You're going to face challenges because you're going to get indecisive about characters, not knowing where they're going. The important lesson to learn is stay focused and write shit down so you don't get lost. I have an amazing memory. I blow people away with my memory, but I write shit down so I don't forget. If I go to the grocery store, I can't remember everything on the list. It's hilarious, but I have an amazing memory. But it's funny. So you write shit down to know you knowing and how they change by the end. You got to make sure where this character's going by the end. You got to say, do I want him dead? There's a lot of characters I start off with. Right now I'm writing a book with 88 characters, and right now there's 15 dead. Boom. Just like that. Or it depends on the book where no one dies. It depends on you. You can figure it out. Then you got to make sure with the characters. So you could draw people in to know this person. Do they have a favorite food? Is there a favorite place? Or is there an activity? Are they just like running or like listening to music? I have a guy in one of my books where he just listens to tunes until it's time. Or he sits there just staring. I mean, that's scarier than shit to have people that do that. But what it is. Then the favorite color, what kind of music they like, that means everything in a book. It changes the mood of where it's going, how it is, and where it's going to end. Got it? What about hobbies? Da-da! Hey, then you got to realize how their body language is, what catchphrases they may use, how they react under stress, and how they react to others. All this matters. So don't forget to write all this down because, man, we can't do all this like boom. The great characters usually have a goal, a flaw, a transformation during the story. How's that? All right. So now we're going to back up a little bit. And we are going to recap really quickly. Okay. So last week we covered, and it was start your book. Know your core ideal is number 1. Number 2, define your main focus. Number 3, plan your opening. Number 4, basic story structure. And number 5, once you complete the first 4 steps, then you look at the chapter formula. So don't forget to use each one in the chapter, the setting, the problem, the reaction, and the cliffhanger. Now, we went to this week was build your character. There we go. Now, you have your basic information is number 1. Number 2 is your physical appearance. Number 3, don't forget the personality. Number 4, background, their past. Number 5, goals and motivations if they have them. Some characters never have them in your book, but if they have them, get them in there. It makes it more detailed and people get to know your book better. Relationships. Do they have relationships? Then it's skills and abilities. Then it's characters, arc. Then it's going to be the favorite preferences. And then it's if they use catchphrase. If they use catchphrases or common sayings. There you go. Check that out. Now don't forget, great characters usually have a goal, a flaw, and a transformation during the story. Write that shit down, put it somewhere, and therefore you go. Now, when I was, turning around as far as, we're not going to do a lot of the other stuff. All right, behind every podcast episode is someone waiting here that is empowered by ideas, coffee, and questionable research. You know, when I started out to do this is actually where I wanted to go. I want to talk about my books. I want to talk about how to do books. And I want to talk about the next phase. Now, my next phase after this one, next week, now we're going to cover how to start a plot and how to write your chapters. There you go. So right now, we already start your book. Then we got your characters. Now we're going to go next week with plots. And there we go with chapters. All right. There we go. So I leave you with the quote of the week. And I want you to remember this. Quote of the week for this week is, every great story starts with one brave sentence. Every great story starts with one brave sentence. There you go. Please note, you can give me your feedback, questions, whatever you would like. And you can send that to author StephenCandace@gmail.com. And I appreciate anything. Check out my website, www.authorstephencandace.com. Anything you would like. I got plenty of Audibles and all that. If there's a topic you want to talk about, please. If there is something you want to learn, send me it. Like I said, I used to teach at college. I love it. We will chat with you soon. Holla! And have a great day. And looking forward to a new adventure. And DCP Talks is out.